Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on True Story FM. I'm Pete Wright, and I'm here with Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Pete Wright.
Oh, hi, Nikki.
Hi.
It's great to see you here.
It's great to see you here, too.
We're doing something a little bit different this week, and we're doing it for new people. We decided somewhere along the way, I think it might have been our community manager, Melissa, Discord mom in Discord, who brought it up that we have a lot of episodes. And for new people to the podcast, it might be challenging to figure out where to start. And so this episode is your map. Is that fair?
And a little bit about who we are, too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So we're very excited to do this show. We're very excited to welcome all of you new listeners to the ADHD podcast and hopefully to our broader ADHD community. Before we get started, you can always find us over at takecontroladhd.com and get to know us a little bit better. You can listen to the show on the website, but it's always preferable to jump into one of your favorite podcast apps and subscribe to the show, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google Podcasts or Overcast or Pocket Casts. Anywhere you can find a podcast, you can probably find us. And if you can't find us there, please let me know and I will make sure we're
That's
there.
Right. That's
put
right.
Us there. Another great way to be notified about the podcast is to join our mailing list. Nikki puts together the email mailing list every week and includes a link back to the podcast. So anytime a new episode is released, you'll be notified via email. You can also connect with us via Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest at Take Control ADHD. And if you're new to the show and you go to Instagram, it might look like we're new to Instagram, which we are.
We are.
It's very exciting.
So late to the game.
but it's
that's
very
okay.
exciting over there. It's okay. It's really okay.
Yeah.
We're learning. But to really connect with us, the very best place to go is to head over to the ADHD Discord community. It's super easy to jump into the general community chat channel. You just visit takecontroladhd.com/Discord, and you will be whisked over to the general invitation page or login if you already have a Discord account yourself. But if you're looking for a little bit more, if you find once you listen to some of these episodes that you'd like to invest a little bit more in the community, particularly if you find the show touches you and helps you to understand your relationship with ADHD, you can support us over on Patreon at patreon.com/the ADHD podcast. It is our listener-supported podcasting community. For just a few dollars a month, you can help guarantee that we continue to grow the show, to add new features, invest more heavily in the community. There are a number of different tiers over there that give you different access levels in the Discord community. We do a supplementary show called Placeholder just for our patrons, and it's really me talking about technology and
having lots of fun.
And having lots of fun. And so, there's a lot that we have going on. So check that out, patreon.com/the ADHD podcast to learn more. All right. Nikki, where would you like to start?
Oh, boy. Okay. So why did we decide to do a podcast in the first place?
Well,
I really don't know.
I'll tell you, it's because I came out of broadcasting and started podcasting. And because I was in podcast mode and you and I were friends and I started helping you on some marketing stuff, every problem that I saw at that time could be fixed with a podcast.
Well, of course. Why not? That's right. Well,
yes.
and I do remember having the conversation of being a guest on a radio show, like a weekly guest on a radio show. And you're like, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do our own podcast. And at the time, I had no idea what a podcast was. This was 10 years ago. So our first 12? Podcast was, 12 years ago. It was in 2012 or 2010, right? That we started.
Yeah, that's when we started the very first, but it wasn't an ADHD podcast.
No, it was an organizing podcast because at that point I was a professional organizer.
Right.
And so I won't bore you with those details because...
But you should know that we podcasted for a long time before we pivoted.
we pivoted. We pivoted to ADHD because I changed my business from being a professional organizer to being an ADHD coach. And with that big change in my business, we had to change the podcast. And so episode 163 is us talking about that change and that transition and how we came to that. So that is a good place for you to listen if you want to see or listen or hear. What am I trying to say? Hear more. Yeah.
That was, I think you could call that our first Start Here episode, right? That was really where we send people. And just in terms of the mechanics of the site, if you hear us refer to an episode number, in those early days, episode 163, if you want to jump straight to a page on the website, it's organized in such a way that you can type in takecontroladhd.com/podcast/ and then that episode number, so 163, and you'll jump straight to that episode. So you can search for it in your podcast app of choice, or you can find it on the website if you want to jump back and look at that. So any of our episodes are numbered. We did change our number scheme to seasonal, not some years ago. So our season numbers now are, season and episode. So like right now, this is season 24, episode 16. So 2416. And
I have a little bit of trivia for you.
Understand. Yes, go ahead.
It is the episode after 460 is when we go into seasons. Thank you, Melissa, our community manager who put this into our notes.
So handy that she thought of that. I just thought of it on the fly. I didn't realize she'd planned that. Yeah,
she planned it and put it in here for us to talk about. So yes, you'll have episode 1. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. Well, it's not sad. It's just so weird because one of the things I do have to say, it is different. And I did not know what a podcast was. And so when Pete's like, yeah, let's do a podcast, I thought, great idea. It will go on my website, just like a blog post, having no idea that actually people all over the world listen to podcasts. Yeah. And back in 2010, that wasn't a thing. That was pretty new. I still feel that way sometimes where we are just talking and having a conversation and I forget that this podcast goes out all over the world.
Yeah.
It is a really interesting platform to talk and have these great conversations around ADHD. And then you get wonderful feedback from people. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, so someone's actually listening.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Right. Someone's listening to what we're doing. And I do remember the first time we talked about somebody listening who is not from the United States, right? That is that's, it sounds crazy. Global, small world, getting smaller every day. But the fact that, our, when I look at our top 5 countries, I'll say top 10, United States, Canada, and Australia are our top 3, which and actually the UK, and it's classified as United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So that encompasses our top 4. But then Federal Republic of Germany, Kingdom of the Netherlands, Kingdom of Sweden, Kingdom of Norway, all of the kingdoms. We're big in the kingdoms.
That's awesome.
Mexico and New Zealand. The delight that I get in realizing that I hope in those countries and beyond that are hearing some of these bits of guidance and these wonderful guests and getting something out of them is just really warms my heart. So welcome from wherever you are.
One of the things that I think makes our show really special is Pete has ADHD, so he's coming from that perspective. I'm an ADHD coach. I'm coming from that perspective. We're able to have conversations around ADHD. We're able to talk to experts around about ADHD. There's a lot of how-tos here, but there's also just a lot of conversation around what this is and what does it mean. And hopefully what we want to be doing is creating an ADHD community where people feel heard and supported and understood. And that's part of why I think Patreon became such a big part of what we do with this show, is to really build that ADHD community. And that's what we hope to continue to do.
And I think just to pile on that point, and I think the value, I don't want to speak too much for you here, but for me, and broadly for us, what we discovered pretty quickly is the incredible value that comes from the community and what we learn every day from just bearing witness to what the folks are talking about in our Discord community, in the Patreon community. Like it's an incredibly eye-opening experience to feel like we talk about how incredible it is to hear that people are listening to the show, but to actually see them talk about the challenges that they're living through and finding incredibly creative solutions to live their lives more effectively with ADHD in partnership with ADHD is so valuable to me, living with ADHD, but also doing this show.
Absolutely. So what do we talk about? All kinds of stuff.
We do. And I think that's really an important thing. We jump kind of all over the place. Sometimes the shows that we do are in a series or in a theme. And so you'll hear, sometimes a whole month of episodes is going to be on some specific topic. And we'll have a number of guests that we'll talk to, but it's all related to a theme. And when we do a theme like that, most of the time we'll do a summary episode at the end. Right now, we still call it Nikki and Pete's Summary Fun. So you'll see a Summary Fun episode crop up where we're just trying to internalize lessons that we've learned and hopefully, help you jog some memories of some past episodes. But largely, you can pick up an episode from anywhere. You don't have to listen in order. You really can jump around, and many people use our show as sort of a library episode or library of content. You can go up to the podcast shelf, pick out an episode that you feel like is going to trigger some good things for you and listen away. It doesn't matter where you start. You don't ever have to feel like you're catching up. If you don't want to, you can just skip episodes if you want. It's really fine.
And we're always wanting to hear about what you guys want to listen to. What do you want to know about too? So if you have a particular show idea or you want us to research something more that maybe you don't know a lot about or you're not finding a lot of information on, let us know. We'll do our best to find someone that we can talk to if we don't know enough about it, right, to talk about it ourselves. But yeah, we definitely want to hear back from you guys on what you want to hear and what matters most to you.
Yeah, we do have some pretty broad categories. If you're interested in categorizing the shows that we talk about, generally they'll fall into one of the following: communication, family issues, emotions, emotional regulation, ADHD at work, topics around work, money, organizing, productivity, students, generally adult students with ADHD. We have a symptoms, but generally ADHD symptoms will probably be paired with some other category, so you'll catch those. Technology, time, and wellness. Wellness and I'd say mindfulness, are those big. Those are the big buckets of categories that we talk about.
Absolutely.
What do you have favorite episodes, Nikki?
Oh gosh, no. I don't.
They're all your favorite children.
Yeah. I love all of them because, there's always something to take away. There's always some little nugget, that we either learn or some aha moment or reflection. Now that I say that, I have to say I do love hearing from the people that are listening. So when we have done some shows where our listeners have actually come and done like little sound bites, right, of different things that they have learned and things that are working for them. I do love those shows. I love them all, Pete. I really do, because I love listening to experts and asking questions about their topic because it's so interesting, especially other coaches. I love talking to other coaches and doctors, even though sometimes it's like, when we had Dr. Hollowell, I was like so stargazed. I'm like,
oh no, yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh,
rough.
it's him. It's him. He's here.
There is an ADHD fandom, and he's at the top, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Bill Dodson, I mean, we had the opportunity to introduce to ourselves and our community the whole concept of rejection-sensitive dysphoria. That was episode 405, and it is one of our most popular episodes, and it was the biggest eye-opener, I think, for us and the community to just have words to describe a feeling that we've all experienced. It was incredible. We've done a number of episodes with Bill. His episode on myths and ADHD medication was very popular.
Yes.
So many lessons learned out of that episode. Taking on a leadership role with ADHD, very popular. Breaking Free of Burnout Blues with Casey Dixon, pretty recent. That's another popular one. And the Great Journaling and Planning Systems Review. That was another one that's kind of at the top.
Which is really funny because, ironic, that is a popular episode. It's back from episode 257. That is something that we need to revisit because we know, as you know, in Placeholder, we are always looking for something a little different or what is the next best thing. And so it'd be interesting to go back and listen to that and do a more recent one and say, hey, this is what's changed. Because with planning systems, they change.
They change.
For sure.
They sure do. They sure do. Although I have to give a shout out to the live stream. If you are, this is one of the Patreon benefits. You know, if you become a patron, you can join us for the ADHD live stream. And sometimes things happen in that live stream that are worth remembering. And for me, that would be the ADHD live stream in which I introduced to you the shock tato, which isn't it. I mention it only as sort of a podcast Easter egg. If you become a patron and you want to go back and find the shock tato episode, it's out there.
It's good.
And it was horrible, and it still to this day makes me laugh. I know.
It was laugh.
One of the funniest moments, I think, between us that we've had where I got the crap shocked out of me by this stupid children's toy that is clearly not regulated for
it is
human
not
use.
appropriate
It's way too
for
much
children
power.
or for adults. Like
Yes.
it's just not okay. Like
No,
it's
the worst.
scary.
So sometimes those things are fun, and we like doing the live stream. And the live stream in general, you get the sort of pre and post show, right? You get us talking about things. We do a Q&A with our guests whenever we have guests on, and it's appropriate. So you can ask questions to the guest that isn't included in the main show. And so it's just another way for us to kind of further help our guests invest in our community. So that's it's another benefit. You don't have to have it, but if you are a member, you can go back and surf through those live streams through history.
So I know you already mentioned this before, but I think it's important. If you want to reach out, you want to contact us, of course, the website, you can find our episodes at Take Control ADHD. On Patreon, you can find us at Take Control ADHD. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, at Take Control ADHD. We've made this really easy and fun, which is huge. And how joining the community, right? So how do they do that if they do at some point say, hey, I want to be a part of this? They jump to Patreon.
Jumping to Patreon is the easiest way. And while we do have the general chat channel in our Discord is open to anybody. And a lot of folks see that this is an ADHD community and they jump on having never heard of the podcast. So we have one general chat channel that we leave open to the public as part of our broader community. But you'll notice if you start with Patreon and connect your Discord account to your Patreon account when you sign up, you get to see dozens of other channels that come by tier of your investment in the community. And there are a lot of people in there who are talking and waving and sharing gifts and all kinds of wonderful things all the live long day. And so that would be a great place to start. We've got, almost 600 people in the community right now. And it is a really fun and healthy sort of bespoke community, and we're at a period of great turmoil in social media right now. And so, if you are a person who is on Facebook, but you really value the Facebook groups, that's why we moved to Discord. It's the only thing that you find in Discord are people who are looking for support and fun living with their ADHD. And that's what ties us together. It's a bespoke community for you.
And we love what we do. We love podcasting.
Really?
I love doing it with you, Pete. Can't imagine having a different partner. I think every show we bring everything that we have to it to hopefully have that listener go away with something, whether it's hope, inspiration, a tip, whatever it might be. But we're doing this for you. We love it. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Truly.
For letting us be a part of your ADHD journey.
We
hope you enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Enjoy
most
it.
Of all. Come hang out, listen to the show, and see if you learned something.
Yeah.
So if you're starting here, welcome. If you're an old hat, maybe you learned something new. You probably didn't listen to this. If you're an old hat,
that's right. They're like, oh, there they are.
It's fine. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you downloading and listening to this show. Thank you for your time and your attention. We've talked about all the different ways you can come find us. Follow those ways. I won't belabor that point, but I will say on behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright, and we will see you right back here next week on Taking Control, the ADHD Podcast.